Well, thank you very much, Regina Manyara. Technology has somehow disrupted everything from the way we eat, the way we go to school, and even the way we drive. Joining us right here on Business Insight is Justus Keirigwa, Managing Director of Pairing Cabs. We're discussing how technology has disrupted their business. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thanks for having me over.
Is it true that your business has been disrupted by technology?
Well, the taxi business has definitely been disrupted by technology. Users have requested technology and they've requested efficiencies. So definitely the space has seen a lot of change due to technology, and definitely it's good because the winner is a consumer.
To what extent have you been impacted by technology?
Well, for us, that's a great question. For us, we took initiative. We saw this coming from a long time ago. So actually 2 years ago, we set ourselves as a technology firm, and we set a totally different entity just to manage our technology. So that's why we've managed to stay competitive in this space now.
And when we're talking about disruptions, Uber comes into mind, Mondo comes into mind, Little Cab comes into mind. Do you hate them, first of all?
Well, it's a strong word, but I don't really hate them at all. I don't hate them at all, but you know, just like I was mentioning, you know, the consumer has to win at the end of the day. So whatever you do, you have to have the consumer in mind. So the consumer has to be the winner in whatever space you're in. So definitely, you know, with the entry of all these players that you have mentioned, it's great for the market. The market has actually grown a lot more because there's a lot more consumers that are actually taking cabs right now. So you know, the space is definitely going to grow much more. Just make sure you get your piece of it.
The market has grown definitely, but of course your margins have dipped, correct?
Yes, correct.
Is that a good thing in business?
Like I mentioned, you know, definitely anything you do, even pricing, when you're doing pricing and these kind of decisions as a business, you have to put the consumer in mind. So once you select your segment of consumer, you have to make sure that your pricing matches that consumer. So at the end of the day, the bottom line is the consumer wins.
So what is the future of this business?
It's going to be very interesting. I wish I had a glass that I could see what's going to happen to it 6 months from today. But definitely there's going to be change. There's going to be a lot of consolidation coming in the market. Players have to be competitive right now. If you're not innovating, definitely you're going to die. You know, so because this change of innovation is all being brought by technology, and all these technologies actually all being held in smartphones. So it's not only going to affect our industry, it's going to affect lots of other industries. So as long as you can keep your head above your nose above the water, keep innovating as much as you can, and definitely also learn a lot of the marketing ways to push your innovation to the customers.
You're bound to breathe.
You're bound to maintain your breath.
Very good. What market do you control as we speak?
Okay, so we're hoping to control the market. For ourselves as Pairing Cabs, we primarily focused on the corporate business. So corporate business is very different business. They look for a lot of security in what they do, because they take responsibility of their employees. So for ourselves as a business, we put ourselves out there. We're bringing you the safety, the security that is required, and also the reliability that is brought about by technology.
You haven't answered my question.
Yes.
What is your current market share?
So our current market share, you know, we don't get these numbers, and these numbers of what my competitors are doing in terms of their numbers. I can't say we're really very statistical in our country in these numbers being public. I wish I could give you that answer right now, but it's an answer even if you asked anybody else from my competitors, they wouldn't give it to you.
I want to ask you this question. We have seen your rivals, especially Uber and Mondo, you know, slashing their fares. And now we have seen them, you know, charging as low as 30 shillings for a kilometer. Is this a sustainable business?
So I can't really speak on what their target and what their future is, and what for them as a business they're going, what their target in terms of a business. Maybe their target is not the taxi space, but also you have to know this is technology. Some people's target in technology is data. So maybe it's a data collection business that they're running here, and not really a taxi business. So I can't really tell if this is going to be sustainable. It's going to be very interesting to see. I can tell you for sure some businesses that try to really chase that number down with the objective of trying to run a successful taxi business will not stay afloat.
Will not stay afloat.
Will not stay afloat.
Why have you embraced that thought that Uber may not be necessarily in the business of transporting people. It's a narrative that is gaining currency.
Well, I didn't mention any company in specific. I don't know what their strategy is, but I mentioned probably there could be companies that their strategy is data. Data is the new resource. There's lots of artificial intelligence and lots of interesting things you can do with data to make yourself successful. So it could be a strategy being used by some business, and also, you know, you just never know. There could be different strategies that a business could use this data for to benefit themselves in the future.
Have you been forced to review downward your fares?
Yeah. So for ourselves, ever since we've been in business, we've been extremely competitive with our pricing, and that's a great question. And I'll just mention to it that even regardless of that, when we're extremely straightforward with our customers and we show them the pricing and the get-go, they've not complained about it at all.
And by what margins have you seen your business dipping? Or your profit margins?
So I can't really say, because you know here we're speaking about the current financial year. So I can't really say we've had any dip. Probably the growth is not as we've expected it to be for this year in terms of gaining momentum and more customers. But you know, this is the beauty of technology. You have to keep your head up and stay innovative.
How are you adapting?
So for ourselves, we've always been in the technology space. So we have a data center. We've always had the mobile technology apps, and we've always been extremely straightforward with our customers in terms of pricing. Justus,
thank you very much indeed for joining us and for sharing your insights with us right here on Business Insight.
Thanks for having me over.
Justus Kirigu is the Managing Director, Pewin Cabs, joining us here on Business Insight to help us understand the taxi business. You're watching Business Insight.